of freedom and hope became the company's signature work.
But never mind. Oh, my trials low.
In Australia, I was fascinated by Aboriginal legends and stories of the Dreamtime, so closely linked to the natural world. Their affirmation of a creative spirituality rang true to me. It was as if I had known it for a long time. I began to study seriously and immerse myself in such legends and cultures. I realized that wherever we travel and wherever we live, we absorb the legends of that place, if not consciously, then unconsciously. We in Australia, therefore, were in a unique position of absorbing the oldest culture of the world, that of the Aborigines. In older cultures, dance is an integral part of education, and in the Aboriginal culture in particular, the best dancers are the leaders of the society. This more than fascinated me. It was a magnet to many of my searchings. My search in the 60s took me to Darwin and Melville Island, where I met some Aboriginal elders. I sat with them and talked with them and felt honoured to be in their presence. I studied with Charles Mountford at the Adelaide Museum and read all I could find out about Aboriginal life and culture. It was quite invisible in those days and very hidden from everyday Australian living. My interest was in finding the essence of the legends and to express my feelings and responses to and about this mythology. I trusted Kath Walker to be my guide. She was always positive and supportive of my work. In 1970, the theme of a sound and image production produced by the Australian Elizabethan Theatre Trust revolved around the confrontation of the Aboriginal mythology and culture with our present Western society. Invited as the choreographer for this production, I embraced the challenge with enthusiasm. Stories of creation were expressed through dance, music, poetry, projected slides and film. There evolved one of my most major works, Creation. There was no recognition given to local artists even during the Adelaide festivals. Despaired, in 1968, 4 of us set sail for Europe. We were offered a tour of open-air theatres in northern Italy and Switzerland. I recruited more dancers from Holland and accepted the engagements under the name of Australian Dance Theatre, and we received our first overseas acclaim. In 1971, we organised for ourselves a tour to Southeast Asia, Papua New Guinea and India. We received such good response and reception everywhere we went that we found ourselves to be cultural ambassadors for Australia. This then was finally our breakthrough for recognition at home, and annual funding both from state and federal arts funding bodies was forthcoming. Australian Dance Theatre, with its youthfulness and vitality, was the first dance company to appear in many cities, towns and even countries. We were the first company to establish a touring circuit to universities and communities throughout Australia and New Zealand. As the company developed, it was good for dancers to be exposed to other choreographers, other techniques and ways of moving. Elio Pomare, from the beginning, made significant contributions to the standing company repertoire, and close ties were kept with his company in New York. I invited Ray Cook as a visiting choreographer in 1972. He also introduced Laba notation and some classic modern dance repertoire which had not been previously available to dancers in Australia. Other visiting choreographers included Garth Welsh and Don Asker, who made their first modern dance works on the dancers of Australian Dance Theatre. Frans Verwen and Jaap Vlier from Holland and Cliff Coiter from America, and great encouragement was given to young choreographers as they emerged from within the company. Such choreographers include Jennifer Barry, Gillian Millard, Jeffrey Chikiro, Delwyn Rouse and Tony Strachan. Over recent years, I have been invited to mount a variety of recognised works held in the company repertoire. These range from full-scale productions to lecture demonstrations, solos and duets. The dancers today still find these works challenging both technically and theatrically. The seeds that were sown and nurtured, however, during those early years flowered over the following decade. The company still lives, and the dancers of the founding years are now artistic directors of other companies, lecturers in dance, teachers, dance educators, choreographers and performers in dance-related areas throughout Australia and overseas. And dance audiences in Australia are, as a result of the early pioneering years, better prepared for the many dance productions and dance activities now available. Remember the breath in this variation. Let's begin. Thank you, John. 3, 2. Let's stop from that. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3. Drop, lift, and fall. Arch, throw, and extend. And 1, 2, 3, 3. And fall, and lift, fall, and up, high, fall, and up. Okay, let's hold it. Yes, I need to see much more suspension on those falls. So you get to knees. There's a moment between the rising and the falling. Okay. Let's take it from your fall on the other side. Ready? Yes, there. Okay. Lie down. 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Whip the left. 6 and right. Change and 1, 2. Spiral back and left. Up, back, in and whip around. 2 and over. 3 to begin again. And 1, 2, up, through, lift down, 4, up and throw back. And okay, let's stop right there. We'll pick it up from the fall, and remember to keep your shoulders lifted. You're just on the elbow as you take that whip around. Ready? And 5, 6. One more time we go. And 5. And whip the leg. And back. And spin. Other side. Rising. High. And back. Around. And now whip into the floor. Open. Back. And in. And whip. I continue my work, teaching, performing, and developing my own artistry further. As the director of the Miramu Creative Arts Centre near Lake George, New South Wales, I direct and facilitate creative development programs and performances for artists of all disciplines. In 1965, I founded and directed Australian Dance Theatre with a vision of extending the horizons of dance in this country and of encouraging young dancers and choreographers to explore and develop their own talents, creativity, and uniqueness. The fundamental artistic philosophies I held in the 60s are still relevant for a vision for Australian dance of the future.